should be good. I remember seeing the CEO, the founder of Build-A-Bear Workshops, was speaking in Orlando, and she was talking about it. She loves Twitter. And I said, how do you tell CEOs who hate it, who think it's stupid, why do you do it? How do you find the time? She goes, find the time to talk to my market, talk to my customers, find the time. This is the fun part of business. And that was it for me. If I went to companies and CEOs 5 years ago and said, I found a tool that allows you to listen to your marketplace and your competition, to talk to your past, current, and future customers, to see why people have left, see why they're coming, and allows you to monitor it real time, 24/7, you would have paid me 50 grand a month to access this thing. But now that it's free, you question it, and its use, what's the ROI? It's free, it's 1 over 0, it's infinite. Right? That's your frickin' ROI. Your cost is nothing. What takes time? Thanks, I know. It does take time. That's the point. So you might not have 40 hours a week to tweet 10,000 times. I get that. If you only have 5 hours a week, then be on there for 40 minutes a day instead of 5 hours 1 day a week. If it takes you longer to reply to a tweet than it would to mail somebody a letter, you're doing it wrong. You need to be up there. I had somebody reply to my tweet 89 days later. And I didn't know what she was replying to. She's like, yeah, I think 7. This is from like this is the answer to the meaning of life? Like, what are you saying? And I went, and it was like 3 months prior. And I said, wow, that's quite the turnaround time. She goes, yeah, I've been busy. Apparently. The Pope isn't that busy. Like, you can really get back to these people. It blows my mind. Any other questions, thoughts, issues, concerns? Yes?
Social media for SEO. I find a lot of people want to use social media for link building.
Mm-hmm.
And things that are just, the fast approaches, not long-term community building, but as opposed to, quick, what's our links, what's our mentions.
Right. And the mentions and the retweets and everything else.
What is your advice for that, especially for someone who's working for a boss who is looking for social media for SEO?
So the whole thing about SEO and social media. Now, since SEO, social media ranks very highly, I hate the fact that Google does live search with tweets in there now and stuff because it's killed the point. Now there's actually services that will read your tweet before you send them and make them more keyword rich for you. Ah, right there. I can't deal with these things. It's the pre-programmed, let's make it sound even better for. I understand tweaking things to make them sound better. But again, if you want something retweeted, if you want your link talked about, have the link lead to something that's worth talking about. I understand it works, and you're never going to convince that person otherwise. You have to toe that rope sometimes, and I get it. But the point of Twitter and getting retweeted is to create great content. Here's your tip. If you want something retweeted, keep it under 120 characters for crying out loud. Okay, don't make somebody edit what you say because they might change what you say. They have to retweet it and squish it and start using BRB and all these acronyms that you may or may not have heard about. Instead of your, it's you are. It doesn't work that way. It makes it sound silly. And that's the issue. You don't know what's going to be sent out there. When I first started to gain traction, the biggest way I got new followers was to create retweetable content. Every single day, I'd write 3 to 5 tweets, think about them, and say what would work really well. Inspirational, business tips, try to be funny. It's hard to do sometimes. And I made it my habit to try to write as much great content on Twitter as I could. And that's what worked. I had something 2 days ago, on Monday. Quit Facebook Day. Good flop. That was great. I wrote a tweet and I said, I would quit Facebook today, but where else would I talk to people from high school I never liked? That was the tweet. It got retweeted just through Twitter.com's retweet system 1,300 times. I've never had anything like that. That's my shining moment in life? That's the tweet that's going to carry me on to the next level? That was it. 1,300 retweets. Why? Because I'm just sitting there and my job was to get information out there and help. If you want it to work, you got to put into it. And I call it social currency. You got to invest your time, your energy, your knowledge into it. It'll work if you put the time in. The problem is it takes a lot of time, especially in your initial sections, your traction. Traction takes a long time. You lose faith very quickly. Your first tweets, nobody hears it. It's like a blog post and nobody reads it. It's depressing. But you can get in there and you can jump into conversations. And there's a difference. It works. Social media isn't a religion. You don't have to believe in it or something. It's there. And that's the best advice I can give corporations. We don't know if we want to do it. That's okay. It's already there. It's happening whether or not. It doesn't matter if you like it. It doesn't matter if you're using it. That's what I tell CEOs now. It doesn't matter if you like it or not. I don't care. It's being used. Would you like to jump in or not? Your competition's also doing it, so it's your call. That's the difference. Any other thoughts? Questions? Further? Yes, sir, again. I got to pay you $10 later.
Like just random questions?
Yeah.
Just because you're here.
Yeah. Great, yeah. Embarrassing people.
Share what's the longest you've gone without tweeting?
Good call. Okay, so share people I really like on Twitter. Okay, good. Let me try that. Me? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, by the way. Who do I love to follow? I follow a lot of social media people, marketing people. Obviously, Chris Brogan's hilarious. I love following Chris. He got so much slack over his new logo. It kills me. He's changed his logo. People are like, oh, I don't like it. And it's a C with a circle. People have spent 10 times more time complaining about a logo than they would improving their own business. It was quite funny. I like the brand builder, Olivier. He's great. Follow him if you want. Amber Cadabra is great. Amber's in Chicago. She's wonderful. She's brilliant and she's funny. Coffee Blogger's fantastic. He's not on there enough, but he's really good. Who else? Who makes me laugh and cry and scream and who's not in this room? Dave Fleet, who's not here right now. He kicks my ass all the time. He was my Twitter bouncer, especially when I really blew up. He kept me in line. He called me on my crap all the time. It was awesome. I hate him, and I love him to death because he'd call me on it, and that's what you need. You know, on a side note, the best tool you could ever have in a business is to have somebody who can give you an honest opinion and have the person you like them and you trust them. Twitter's found me my best friend I've ever had in my life, Nummy's Bras. You can follow her, Allison. How else am I going to meet a person who runs a nursing bra company? Seriously, she lives in Burlington. How else am I going to do this? Walk up to her door, hey, I hear you make bras. I like to hear about those. It's not going to work. She's my best friend. She's the best opinion I got. I couldn't have finished the book the way I did without her, and I met her on Twitter. That was it. But we also met in person. We went for coffee one day, and that's a huge part here. Don't stay on Twitter. Take those relationships to that next step. We rely way too much on the digital, and nothing beats this. I love Twitter. I love it like no other thing in the world, and you need to take it another notch. I love it for conferences because you talk pre-conference, during conference, post-conference, but don't make it the only thing you use. You got to take it up. You got to talk to people, and you got to connect. And I love Twitter for that because it fosters that, but it's not the end-all, be-all of relationships and things. How long have I gone without tweeting? I think a day and a half.
Why?
I think I was sick. I think I was in the hospital. I'm not sure. Something like that. Literally, it was like it was my old BlackBerry. I couldn't get a signal. I was in Muskoka or something, and I lost my mind. Yeah, I have a horrible, horrible illness with Twitter and email and BlackBerry at all. And I have to learn that. I have to learn that with my son. I have boundaries for it. Like I write a blog called Undaddy for YummyMummyClub.ca, and the biggest lesson in life I ever got was just because I'm kind of a big deal on a semi-relevant website, it doesn't matter if I'm not a big deal to my son. And that's huge. And we don't talk about that a lot in business, but if I'm doing it for him, I need to be with him. And I got that realization that I had to stop. So I now have blocks. I don't tweet usually, because I'm here, from like 6 to 8:30 when we're home at night when he comes from his after-school program. It was my night to cook, so we went to Denny's. And I took my son there, and I left my BlackBerry in the car. You ever leave your iPhone or your BlackBerry somewhere? You panic more than if you lost your child. Like you're literally, oh no. Oh, no. And you go get it. You're like, they want like photos and stuff because you reunited with it. I forgot it in the car, and we were in Denny's, and I said, buddy, can we just go out and get my BlackBerry? He says, Dad, can we just forget it for dinner tonight? And I realized something that, again, it's about boundaries. You need to put those in place. And it's this huge thing for me. So, and that's at the book, the dedication of the book, it's only 2 words. It says for Unjunior. That's who the book's for. Unjunior is my son. So, at the end of the day, none of this crap matters if that doesn't work. So for me, that was the biggest lesson too. But I got him involved in Twitter. He actually likes it. I tweeted 7 months ago or so. He sat down next to me and I said, buddy, check it out. This is Twitter. And he goes, well, how's it work? I said, everybody, could you please say hi to Owen? You were seeing it too. We said, please say hi to Owen and tell him where you're tweeting from. And everybody started tweeting where they're tweeting from. Australia, Toronto, England. And he thought the 2 coolest places in the world was Australia and Mississauga.